Well, it wasn't supposed to be windy today, but if this isn't windy, I don't know what is. I brought the plants out here early this morning. Hey, Jack, out of the bed. Out! Out! What? You know better. Go over there, lay down. Come on. You're being a pain in the patootie this morning. Ah, he's being clingy. You could just sit there. How's that? Okay, I need to plant ground cherries. We're going to fill this part of the bed here. It's going to be a little bit more crowded than I would prefer, but I have a limited amount of space in the garden, and this is an experiment, so we're going to see if it works. So let's get going. This week has been, let's all stroll around in the... Oh, you might want to talk about why you're wearing a long sleeve shirt other than the fact that it's 60 degrees out here.
Yeah, I don't want to get photo reaction.
Yeah, Henry's working on cutting down our parsnip tops, and you need to wear gloves, by the way.
I'll be fine.
Okay. One of the dangers about cutting parsnips and carrots is that some people can get a photo reaction. To my knowledge, neither of us ever have, but sometimes it can take several days to react. And especially since these plants are overgrown, we wanted to make sure we didn't wind up with any kind of issues, because the burns from parsnips and carrots and stuff like that can be pretty significant sometimes. There's some really... Let's see if I can find a picture to put with this video, because it can be pretty nasty. They look like chemical burns or like a bad case of poison oak or something. So try and be careful when we deal with them. I've, to this date, never knowingly had a problem with them, but one of the problems is once you have a problem with them, it seems to get worse every time it happens. So we're trying to avoid drama. So I'm going to plant my smallest plants out here. Some of these are already beat up a little bit. They've been out here for a couple of hours. We put down landscape fabric on this section of the garden. Two reasons. One, this area has had chronic weed problems, but the other one is ground cherries fall off the plant when they're ripe. And what we're trying to do is we're trying to be able to see them. And having a black, smooth background should make that a lot simpler. This is our scrawniest little plant here. I figured this would be a good place as any. I don't know if it's going to make it or not, but he gets a shot, shall we say. You're helping this morning, huh? Yes. I'm helping, Mom. 16 husk cherries, also known as ground cherries, which should more than overfill this thing and hopefully produce a whole stack of fruit for jams and jellies and other good stuff. I don't know if Henry showed you this before, but this is our sweet corn, and it is really starting to pop now, which is very exciting. It's kind of hard to see, but it's getting there. So I just put the irrigation on here yesterday, and I'll be double checking it today to make sure that everything is getting wet enough, because that will be one less thing I have to water every morning. Let's take a look at the bed Henry's been working on this morning. This is the old rhubarb bed, and just an hour or so ago this thing was full of huge humongous carrots and parsnips. You can see the tops down over here, and this is what I was talking about, having to be careful of this stuff. Not everyone is sensitive to it, but it's good to be aware of it because the burns that you can get off of it can be pretty nasty. There are wild plants that can also cause the same problems. I actually wound up with a really nasty burn on my ankle about a month and a half ago. No idea what I got into, but it took probably 2 weeks to get rid of the blisters and everything else. So yeah, good to be aware of things like that. This mess. There are some probably viable carrots in here. This was supposed to have been harvested about a month and a half ago and just completely ran out of time. So we will be pulling all the carrots that are viable in here. We'll be digging everybody out. Let's see, over here. Let's see, where is it? There. Over there. There is some parsley that is going to seed. Then there's onions in the back here. The onions, they're fine for use. They won't store, but there are some carrots in here that are good. It was just one of those beds that, you know, if you have a choice between planting something that looks like it's going to be really viable and harvesting something that's not going to be, sometimes you have to make your choices, and we did. We also, because of the heat, it just popped so fast, we were kind of taken by surprise. Okay, onward. Well, got the ground cherries in. Been trying to get to that for about the last week and a half. It was just one thing after another. This ground here was hard as a cement block. If you've been following us for a couple of years, you'll know that this was actually underneath the straw bale garden last year. And this year we're recycling the straw bales into other beds, but in this part of the garden. But we wanted to take this back to being a regular bed. And the eastern portion of this bed is all sweet corn, but this seemed like a perfect thing to put here. It's a giant experiment, so you'll have to come watch, because if we really do well with this, there'll be some cooking videos out of this one. So be sure to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and be sure to come back because we have all kinds of stuff going on this year. So until next time, bye.